everybody. Today we are out on Lake Wisconsin here in south central Wisconsin, and we are targeting some giant post-spawn walleyes, and we're going to be using something new that I'm really excited about. These actually are brand spanking new from Eagle Claw. These are the new Eagle Eye series of walleye jigs. I am beyond excited to fish with these because of a couple of features that I think are going to make these absolutely awesome. I have fished with them just a little bit this season, but haven't had a really good opportunity to do so with everything going on in the world. But today we are going to be putting these things to the test. So a couple of the features of these jigs that I really like is, first of all, the Pro V-Bend laser sharp hooks that are on these jigs. As you can see, it comes to a really sharp point in the bottom of the bend of that jig. And essentially what that does is it really kind of locks the fish into the jig, and it makes it a lot harder for that jig to pop. The next thing you'll probably notice is right there in the middle of the jig is that plastic keeper. And when you compare that to a traditional, long shank jig that you're gonna fish soft plastics with, a lot of them have that little wire keeper on the bottom of the shank of the hook. Instead, this is right smack in the middle. It has opposite facing barbs. And the advantage to this is it hooks the plastic deeper, further down inside of that piece of plastic, and you're less likely to rip it. That's typically a pretty big issue with a lot of plastic specific jigs with the wire keeper, is after a while you tear the plastic, your plastic is sitting kind of wonky on the hook, and you don't get nearly as many fish, and you don't get the life out of your plastic. So this hook keeper, this plastic keeper is a really awesome way to keep that plastic in place. And the other thing I also really like is just the head in general. So looking at it from the side, it looks just like any other Eagle Claw gumball jig, but it's actually more of a current cutting style of jig. It comes down to a little bit of a taper, and it's got some really cool little holographic eyes that come in a bunch of really cool fish catching colors. So we're gonna be rigging these up on some of my absolute favorite plastics for this system. We're gonna be running either Moxies or Pulsars, most likely Chartreuse White Core, which is my all-time favorite for this system. And hopefully we can get onto some big post-spawn female walleyes. Let's give them a shot. Spank. Yep. Yep. It's a walleye, it's big. It's a giant. It's a big one. It's a really big one. That is what we're looking for. Oh, that is what we've come to Lake Wisconsin for. Oh, that fish actually pinned it to the bottom. I felt the smack and I set the hook. That is a big old spawned out female. We're gonna bump this fish real quick. It's definitely not a 30, but it's upper 20s. We've got 20, 26 pretty much on the dot. Look at those big old eyeballs. Alrighty. See ya, sweetheart. That was awesome, and it was on the new Eagle Claw Eagle Eye jig. It's got the new V-Bend Pro hook and a really awesome plastic keeper on there. That is an awesome jig head. And rocking the EC 2.5 as well, so Eagle Claw and Eagle Claw. And you might have noticed that fish actually was hooked underneath the jaw, but I felt the bite, and that happens. That's actually the fish pinning the jig to the bottom. As weird as that sounds, that is actually a thing that they do. They'll smack bait fish, and they will actually pin them and kind of stun them before they eat them. So you sometimes will catch fish like that, where you feel the whack and you set the hook and they're hooked under the jaw, but that fish actually did hit the jig. That was pretty sweet. Let's see if we can get another one. These fish are, there we go. No, that was a big one, dude. That was a fucking giant. Yep.
Not a big fish, but it's a fish. It's on the jig.
Ooh, nice sauger. Wow. Wow, sweet nut job. Wow, look at that thing.
Back on the board.
Ooh, you went purple.
Yep. Switching up the color a little bit. Mostly because that's what was laying on the bottom of your boat.
That's a nice sauger.
Yeah, not bad.
Boy, did you chew that thing.
He did.
Sweet.
Chomped it.
The sauger seal of approval.
There he is.
Beautiful. Purple char ringworm. Beautiful. Nice fish, dude.
Cool.
Oh yeah, it is. That's a big girl.
On the plastic.
That's a big girl.
You want to reel that other rod up?
Sure.
Kind of right there.
We're anchored. Oh, it's lefty. Of course it is. I don't know. You can fish like a normal person. Are you gonna catch it?
I can't move it though.
That's a big walleye. Keep it away from that trolling motor. What do you have?
Down enough.
That's a giant. That is a monster.
Oh, we pinned it again.
All
Another
right.
pin.
Holy cow. Oh boy. Jesus.
That's a big fish. That's cool.
That's a 30, dude. I think you just caught it. I think you got your. I'll let you do that. That's your fish. That's a giant fish.
Let's put her on here. 29 and a quarter. 20. Not
20,
quite 29. Almost
29.
there. That's a good fish though.
You think?
Yep. That's a really good fish.
Wow, dude.
I better get a picture of that one.
Big old post spawn female.
Yep. I'm
Sweet.
gonna toss her back in the water and give you my camera.
Yep.
Take a picture of her. You wanna get her in?
Yep. Look at the dome on that
I
thing.
know, the head on it's huge. Look at that thing.
Goodbye. Big old spawned out female. She had eggs, dude. That was 10, 11 pounds all day.
That was a big fish. Well, let's probably catch another one.
Chartreuse Moxie.
Chartreuse. The 4-incher catches the big fish.
Well, unfortunately, we weren't able to fish for a super long time today. The weather is kind of not looking so great, and it's kind of making the decision to call it for us. In fact, you're probably getting rained on right now. But if you are in the market to try some new walleye jigs, give the Eagle-Eye jigs a try. I promise you are going to like them. And hopefully, I will see you guys on the next video.